Okay. Hope my intelligent idea is visible now.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So today we are going to try to continue the study class part. Yesterday we have covered the generic part,
Mhm.
and there are some basic concepts still left. So I'm going to cover those so that we are aware what are the terminology used in the generic. Okay.
Mhm.
So question is today uh, explain what is generic. Just again revise. Let's say I'm writing one method static, maybe like test. Okay,
Mhm.
and test method. Let's uh, returns take one string. Okay,
Sure.
string. Just revise so that key and is also in the same phase where it started, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's we have a string as message. Okay,
All right. Yeah.
so let's this return the void. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you do s out, they are message printing. So how to
Mhm.
call? I am going to call this method. Hey,
Mhm.
test this method and pass any string, right? One.
Right. Mhm.
In this way, this test method. Oh, what happened? Okay, okay.
Mhm.
If you run, you will get the output. This is a simple method. There is no any business logic. But notice this is the method test, which is designed for any specific types. They only you can only call if the input is the string, right? Okay.
Right.
And
Right.
what happened? I want to print like some number. Let's say I want to
Mhm.
print this number like
Two.
one,
Two.
two, three number.
Right.
This test method say I cannot accept your input
No.
parameter like integer because your methods are expecting a string.
Right. Yeah.
So what the alternative? Alternative say, oh, I am going and override this method. I am say, okay, you are integer. I am changing this integer, right?
Right.
Now our both method work fine, right?
Mhm.
So this is the generally way. I am copy paste same code and what change? I just change this string to integer, right?
Right.
Let someone say no, I want to call this for the float number, a double
Mhm.
number.
Right.
Still, it's not happy. So what again I
Mhm.
going to do? Again I copy paste again, right?
Right. Right.
Again I copy paste and so you are double. I am changed to the double, right?
Double. Yes.
This also works. So notice again copy paste. Why not think? Why not this test method accept any kind of things? Why always I say integer, float, double, long, any other thing, right? Right.
Right.
So instead of writing this, why not write something here common thing, right? Not
Yeah.
string, not int, not double.
Not doubles. Yeah. Not float. Yeah.
Okay. So instead of that, I write static void and let's print. Okay,
Mhm.
print a
Mhm.
print instead of here I'm input let's here instead of I'm type int float
Mhm.
double why test set some generic type, some any
Right.
generic word and any types you can
Mhm.
say any types
Mhm.
maybe variable and just say s out.
Mhm.
Okay, but question is that till now compiler don't understand ki what is this t.
Right.
I only know string, I only know int, I only know float, I only know double. But
Mhm.
what is this int? IT, yeah, any types.
Mhm.
By default, we had to inform compiler, hey compiler, I am going to make this print method is very generic. They can
Mhm.
accept int, they can accept float, double, any object.
Mhm.
So still
Mhm.
compiler said, tell me na, this is the generic. How know
Mhm.
this is a generic, right? So here
Mhm.
in the for static classes, a static method, the same place here you can define t.
Right.
So this indicate the in this method I am going to one a generic variable t. So compiler
Mhm.
please consider this is the one type. Okay.
Right.
So here
Right.
mentioned in this way. This is generic and t.
Mhm.
Okay. Now let's call this print method. If you
Mhm.
print and call any value, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
They accept your string
Right.
because you are passing a string, but you're not typing any string. that this is
Right.
the your method. It took a generic. Even
Mm-hmm.
you can here now you can pass anything whatever you want. Let's say I want to number system.
Right.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it works. Even you can pass maybe double number, right?
Mm-hmm.
For both works. So now that means now we are able to write method that is more generic types.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Generic, yeah.
Even now, don't write the multiple overload method. Just write
Mm-hmm.
one method and say, "Hey compiler, at runtime you decide it is method for integer or float or double." Runtime
Mm-hmm.
is whenever someone going to the call here
Right.
method. At this
Right.
time, compiler understand t means string. At this
Mm-hmm.
time, compiler understand t means integer. Here, t means double.
Acha.
Is it clear?
So this T, it is going to give me all the value in the one print, right?
Right. Whatever here logic you have to put, there is no initialize, right?
Acha, 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 acha. Mm-hmm.
But the concern is that now in further you are not going to write multiple overloaded method for the different argument, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So this is the study class we discuss, right?
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay.
Now this is the one way. So study say ki we can write my custom class as well as generic. Just launch the study video, and then look. Many times we have used like here. Let example like list of.
Mm-hmm.
I pass some number. Let okay.
Mm-hmm.
So by default, you notice here say this is the generic syntax, right? They say ki
Mm-hmm.
this is the integers, but this is the types of int value,
Mm-hmm.
and here you can pass only integer value. So
All right.
you can say, let's say I'm going to create a list of a string, right?
Mm-hmm.
New
New. Mm-hmm.
array list,
Mm-hmm.
and here if this is the types of string, so here you can only add the string value, right? Test.
Right. Right.
Here you cannot add the like dot. Let's say I want to add any number. Let's say one,
Mm-hmm.
two, three. Notice
Right.
here compiler is very it- rigid. Say no, you cannot give me add number here because this collections is defined for string
String.
only.
Mm-hmm.
Compile is all the generics are checked at the compile time. Compiler say, hey, you can interested to generic for the only string. You can only put here a string value, not integer, not float, not double.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Here, this is not allowed. Okay,
Acha, acha.
clear?
Got it.
Question next. So, if you want to integer, then you are going to create the list for integer, right? Really,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this is the integer
Mm-hmm.
list for integer,
Mm-hmm.
and here say now in this list of integer, you can only add integer value, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here you cannot. You are trying to add like something string,
Mm-hmm.
add string, that's not allowed. So
Mm-hmm.
all these generics are checked at the compile time. Okay, here not allowed.
Acha.
So how to compile? No, here I'm not allowed test because here you specify generic. Oh, this list is only for the integer.
Mm-hmm.
Till now, all these things we studied about the basic about the generic, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
They are okay. So let me understand some more uses. What other thing I can write here? This is the integer, float, number, anything. So one thing is here we can write maybe I want to both
Mm-hmm.
test and 23 as well as.
Mm-hmm.
So what we can do? Okay, let's create list. Okay, here, and let's get all type,
Mm-hmm.
all. Okay, all types equal to new array list.
Mm-hmm.
So question here, what I can think, right? Let's I write this is the new keyword.
Mm-hmm.
This is known as a wild card. This say कि here in this list of collections you are eligible to add anything. Add, you can string, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's allow. Okay, what say? Okay, this is like we have to replace those. Okay, so
Replace. Okay. Replace only. Okay.
okay, so this way here I want at string number anything. Then what? This is known as a one new card wild card.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
here say this should be allow string. So here say you write the string word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say this is the types of strings.
All right.
So instead of this, you can simply say string. So in this way, compiler understand, right?
Acha.
So here, there are two, three. This is the till now clear, right? Different types of value we can place.
All right.
But sometime I want some say kind of inheritance things. Maybe let us example like what I'm say one class example, like a good example is a number is the one class. Okay, in the Java
Mm-hmm.
system, number is the
Mm-hmm.
one class,
Mm-hmm.
and this number have multiple subclasses. Maybe this is the integer. Integer is the integer class. This notice this is the integer class. What is the
Mm-hmm.
super class of this? Is the number class.
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, if you look here, integer class. Notice this is the integer class. Note this is the super class is the your number, right?
Superclass of this number, right?
Number. So in try to say all the numbers like integer, float, double. Maybe integer have four types of integer, like maybe your byte, maybe short, maybe right. So you can write here
Mm-hmm.
multiple types. Right? Let's long. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
long, long. So notice long is the also class, but what is the super type? Number.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to say कि sometime there is a super class that let's example number and have a multiple subclass.
Mm-hmm.
Here integer subclass, long subclass, short subclass, byte subclass. So there are multiple subclass. So what happen? I can create the object of your list of integer.
Mm-hmm.
Then I cannot add the long.
Mm-hmm.
If I created the collections of your integer, so I can
Mm-hmm.
only add the integer value. But notice logically, long is also a number,
Mm-hmm.
short is also number, byte is
Right.
also number.
Right.
So why not we can create some kind of collections which help us to allow all the number means
Mm-hmm.
integer, long, short, byte.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you create this is the sub, this is the subclass, this is the
Mm-hmm.
superclass, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So here, while creating a generic things, you have to decide you want to some kind of this is the super kind of things allow only, or subtypes of only allow.
I didn't get it. Superclass of that is going to allow and
Right. Let me give some example.
sure.
So I'm going to create. I'm going to create one. Uh, let's here in. This is the integer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the your integers collection.
Mm-hmm.
And let's I'm create one more collection long,
Mm-hmm.
long.
Mhm.
integers. Okay,
Mhm.
and here longs. And let I create one more sort.
Mhm.
Okay, and this is the just change the sort, and let's one create more like a byte.
Mhm.
Byte.
Mhm.
So notice I created a four collections. Notice integer is the class, superclass is the number, right?
Mhm.
Similarly, long is the class that super type is a number. So
Right.
sort is a class, super type is a number, right?
Number. Right.
And byte is a class, super class is number.
Right.
So in
Right.
short, this all integer, long, short, byte, all are the classes, right? All are the classes,
Mhm.
all are the
Mhm.
classes. But all the same superclass is the number, right?
Mhm.
Number is the one superclass, 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 right?
Mhm.
So here integer, long, short, byte.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if you create the collection for only subtype, so in this case only we can add the integer value.
Acha.
Here only can add the long value because here we specify, right? So here
Acha.
is a it's like integers dot. So let me here integer dot add. Here integer number we can add, right?
Mhm.
Any, but in these collections we cannot any long value like 70L, right?
Mhm.
Now notice compiler give error because here this collection with the
Because
mouse.
why it is going to give the error? Because of this, we already
Yeah,
accept that integer and then.
yeah, we are expecting only you can add me integer.
Acha.
So they say ki only integer allow, long
Mhm.
is not provided. You are providing the long. You are
Acha.
not, right?
Mhm.
Similarly, let's in the long. This is the
Mhm.
long. If you say long dot add and here this number, you can just add long number. L
Mhm.
represent the long L. So now
Right.
it's okay. Here it's okay. Okay. This is okay.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
here it's not okay. But
Acha.
similarly, let's see. I'm going to add some integer number here.
Mhm.
That's like a 67. Okay. Notice here. Notice here. This time say ki here you are passing me integer number, but
Right.
I'm a long. Why you are
Mm.
passing the integer?
Right.
So here trying to intention whenever you create the specific types of generic, the only specific types of value you can add.
Right.
Okay. So here integer we cannot add. Similarly in the case of sort, similarly in the case of byte, right?
Mhm.
So problem sometimes overall all these are number, right?
Mhm.
All are the number,
Mhm.
different range.
Acha.
You can say byte. Byte is also 12 is a number, right? Short.
Mhm.
Short on
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4 is also number.
Acha.
Long. Long a big number, right?
Mhm.
Integer number. Finally, all these are numbers, right? So
Right.
why not my collections support all this number? So instead of creating different, you say I am going to create the list for superclass number.
Acha.
Here say this is the numbers and
Mhm.
say num new array list, right?
Acha.
And now here this is the numbers means here you can add number
Mhm.
integer, you can add long, right?
Mhm.
Or you
Mhm.
can add the float,
Mhm.
or you can add the double. You can
Mhm.
notice all are the allow
Acha.
integer
Okay, because you are adding the parent class.
parent class.
Acha.
This
Right.
is new. This is new. Something new.
Okay.
That's
Sometime
cool.
we are going to use the this way.
Mhm.
So what do you mean? What do you mean here? Whatever the things here you passing, okay? By
Mhm.
default, those allow, and all the
Mhm.
subclasses also allow. Notice here, subclass integer also allow, subclass long also allow, subclass float also allow, subclass double also allow.
because they all extend numbers.
Number. Let me think. Instead of double, not double. So notice double is also clear. This is the number, right?
Right.
Due to that, they are allowed. Similarly, like float. Float is also class, right?
Right.
Float. Float is also kind of number, right?
Right.
Right.
And yeah,
We have to
extend.
say if someone write here like integer or float or number, so that means not the only things, only number, but
Right.
number. This is the class is allowed. Number you can allow, and all sub class also allow. All the subclass
अच्छा.
here while adding
Right.
all the subclass allow.
अच्छा.
Okay, so this is the one terminology known as let me wild card, and here you have a also whenever you call about the inheritance, there is a kind of some kind of you can say uh, let me specific terminology. This is my so this yes, wild card with the two kind of bounding. Okay, so let me I explain what is that. Okay, so here whenever you are going to the inheritance, so this is the one class. One class can have a child class, right?
Right.
And also possibly this have a super class. Also this is a possible super class, right? Also a child class.
True.
So sometime I want from this all the lower allow, right? But upper not allow. Sometime, right? Sometimes say if from there only upper allow, but lower not allow. So due to that, Java given the two syntax. Sometimes you want to uh, give some restrictions on inheritance, right?
अच्छा.
So like whatever the super class of this classes are allowed, or whatever the subclass of this class are allowed. So this is known as a upper wildcard. This is known as a lower wildcard. These are two new terminology. I am giving the example. What is the upper wildcard means whenever I am going any generic. So whatever the upper things are allowed means upper means this class allow, super class allow, right?
Right.
And whatever say no, I'm only interested all the lower class, right?
अच्छा.
So here say this class allow, this class allow, this class allow. So this is the two terminology used in this card like a wildcard. So one is the upper bound wildcard, one is the lower bound wildcard, right?
अच्छा.
So let us example I am going to write. Okay. So let us good example. I am S out. Say it's a static method void uh, process it process collections collections. So here I am going to say I have just expecting you pass me the list that case wildcard here. This is a one case. So if it's and just say list, okay, and here you just as of now just I'm say list dot print value whatever the right.
Right.
I'm not doing any business logic, but just say system dot out colon println is out called, okay. So you say you have a one method process collections. They can this card means this is the wild card. Wild card. You cannot meaning mention means here you can pass any kind of list. So let's say I'm going to the call method. I am going to this call method and say this is accept anything. So I can say list of, and I can pass here one. Let's for example one. If you
Mhm.
run, this will give me call for the one integer, right?
Mhm.
Or they are expecting anything, right? What
Right.
happened? I call second parameter. Let's test string.
Mhm. Mhm.
Still notice this API is work. They are able to call integer, string both,
Acha.
and might be I'm notice both are invoked. So let call the float value. Night
Mhm.
float means uh, 3.4f, right? This is the float value.
It is
This is one.
floating. Yeah.
So these methods are expecting any kind of list, maybe one string, float,
Mhm.
integer, double, long,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Maybe 98L long, right?
Right.
This you notice F means float, L means long, right? This number
Mhm.
long.
Mhm.
So in this way, this word known as this is a wildcard. This means this is a generic. You can pass me anything. There is no problem, right?
Mhm.
This is the process wildcard. Wildcard.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's clear.
Clear.
Now I am
Yeah.
going to not do anything, but
Mhm.
I am only interested for specific things. So let us example if we have my one. Let's we have one class my class. Okay,
Mhm.
my class have a, and let's they have a one number integer x, right?
Mhm.
And add the constructor. Okay,
Mhm.
and to string, right?
Right.
Alt insert, just I override. Okay,
Mhm.
so if you notice, I can even pass here my class. Say new my class. Okay, a year pass 46, right? So generic, this is the wildcard. Here I'm not specifying any integer, any
Mhm.
float.
Mhm.
What say? Public says cannot find single java.links. Process my collections sample. What they are saying? Line number this. Say
Maybe the new my class will be in bracket inside the bracket.
no, it should not. Let I'll try. Okay, let me this. And okay, there are some. Then what problem again? Say I'm just remove my code. Okay. Oh, I changed this method name, right?
Right.
Yes, you did. You did.
Now it works. Just mentioning the process wildcard collections, right?
Mhm.
And let now I say I'm going to create new my class and here pass 56. Okay, and
Mhm.
let's so notice they are printing integer, string, float, integer, and even custom object, my object.
Mhm.
So it's clear whenever you say question mark, this is a wildcard, they can accept anything. But
Okay.
sometime our business requirements say I'm not interested to all. I have some hierarchical boundaries, right?
Mhm.
Hierarchical boundary. Let's example. I have written this is my let's I written one subclass, okay?
Mhm.
Uh subclass, okay? Subclass. And that extend this my class, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And here just I say super insert constructor, right?
Acha.
Constructor, okay. Take that. And similarly another subclass. We have created just two subclass. Here
Mhm.
say uh lower subclass,
Mhm.
lower subclass. This is the one lower subclass. We have a
Mhm.
just I'm trying to make a hierarchical relationship. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And this is the lower subclass, and this is the, you can say, uh, upper subclass.
Mm-hmm.
Upper subclass, and can be lower one, lower two, multiple subclass can be, look, lower one, and here lower two. So notice here my subclass, I created the one uh, class name is super subclass, and this is the lower class extend from here, right? This is a super,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and now this lower is the this. So what I created like this is the top class, my class, and
Mm-hmm.
one subclass is the upper subclass. Okay, then I
Mm-hmm.
also created one lower subclass and
Mm-hmm.
also created lower one subclass, right?
Right.
So this hierarchy I created. Okay, so now I am going to make
Mm-hmm.
some boundary. Sometime
Mm-hmm.
only upper part allow, sometime only lower part allow. By default I pass my class, so they
Uh,
can allow all, right?
Ajay, Bhaiya, there is, you
Yes,
said that sometimes it is upper part allowed, sometimes it is lower part allowed, right?
yes.
So how do I know that which part is allowed? Just so,
Just I'm going to
okay.
write example.
Sure, 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 sure.
Just here I am created different kind of hierarchical, right?
Right.
So let me, I am writing class.
Mm-hmm.
So I am say here process. Let me lower first, lower
Mm-hmm.
wildcard.
Mm-hmm.
So here say ki I am not going to allow all.
Mm-hmm.
I am to only allow extend, and which is the my middle is the, this is the middle class, lower class. I say ki
Mm-hmm.
lower class object you can allow me. So I can place here in this method lower class name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he in this method, I create the object. This is the my class object. Let of my class object, new
Mm-hmm.
my class. Let's 35. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
now I created the uh, upper subclass.
Mm-hmm.
Upper subclass equal to new. Let's pass 46,
Mm-hmm.
and we created the lower subclass object.
Mm-hmm.
Lower subclass object, new lower subclass object.
Mm-hmm.
This is the lower two, and let's me create it equal to new lower two.
Mm-hmm.
So I've created multiple object. Let here I am saying here I have to pass this method. We have to call. We have to call like dot process and say
Mm-hmm.
list of. I am going to pass this lower class object. Lower class means this. If I pass this object,
Mm-hmm.
it should works. Okay. Uh, if you run, because you say key my wildcard support, this is the your lower class means ki all this class and all subclass supported, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me here write the all like of one kind of a construct one message, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is called, right?
All right.
Just let me, I we understand. Okay, so what happen if I am going to pass this super class here? So I am going to say hey comma this. Notice
Mm-hmm.
our compiler is very very unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
Say your list is only supporting you can pass this lower subclass or again
Mm-hmm.
subclass, maybe lower two you can pass, this subclass you can pass, right? This
Mm-hmm.
subclass it's okay. Okay, notice you can pass these two.
Okay.
That means this say if we have a one class and all sub child, child
Mm-hmm.
one, child two, right?
Mm-hmm.
But upper thing, like this is the two upper thing, right? Lower class have a super class this. A superclass of a superclass this. So
Super
this
class. Yeah.
superclass are not allowed.
Why? Because
Why?
of this.
Because here I am say only I am interested. This list accept lower class.
Acha,
So
acha.
lower class allow and all his subclasses. What is the
Mm-hmm.
subclasses? These subclasses have a this one, right? Lower
Mm-hmm.
two. So this is allowed. But what is a superclass? Upper super. This class is not allowed. So here we cannot pass any superclass.
Mm-hmm.
Is it clear? Here we have a multiple hierarchy. My
Mm-hmm.
subclass and upper subclass and
Mm-hmm.
lower subclass
Mm-hmm.
and lower two subclass, right?
Acha.
Lower two. This is the subclass and
Mm-hmm.
upper subclass, and this is the my class top, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
say here I am only interested. This list can only supposed to be work for the lower subclass. That means
Mm-hmm.
this is the lower subclass. This class work. Notice here I pass this class work, and this is also all the subclasses. This is also work, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
cannot pass this. You cannot pass this. You cannot pass this. That
Mm-hmm.
means these two upper classes we cannot pass here. Let me I try to pass this, right? Compiler
Mm-hmm.
is very unhappy. Notice they are compile time error
Acha.
because you say your list is expecting only the lower subclass and all his subclasses only.
All right.
So here, in the case of your inheritance, you are apply some condition. If this is my inheritance, multiple level of inheritance, if you are interested this and only the lower part, subclass, then you can use the word extend and your subclass name.
Acha.
If you're not passing anything here, so here you can pass everything. Let's say I pass this method. I can call this and say list of dot of, and here I can pass even my superclass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even I can pass my upper class,
Mm-hmm.
even I can pass my lower class,
Acha.
when I can pass lower subclass. All are expected, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why this method expect? Because they are expecting wildcard. But why this method is not expecting? They say I am only support all the classes of this are is superclass. So this class allow is subclass allow, but superclass not allow. Here you cannot allow.
Acha.
Is it any doubt till now?
Just kind of
Yeah,
just like lots of things goes
uh,
like
yeah.
yeah.
So
Similarly,
when you
yes.
extend the parent
Uh,
one,
mm,
obviously you can use the resource of the top one, but
yeah.
can the top access the bottom one's resource?
Again, repeat the question.
So my class is the top one, right?
My class is the top one. Yes.
So upper class using from the top, my class, upper class accessing my class.
Upper class accessing my class means yes. This is the subclass, na?
Yeah,
What are
subclass.
you trying to say?
So
Subclass
upper class
inherited
is
from here.
subclass. They are accessing my class.
Yes, this is the subclass can inherited from the my class, or this inheritance happen here, right?
Right, right. Inherited from my class. Okay.
So that means this become a superclass, this become a subclass, right?
Right.
And now here, notice this is the become again superclass for this class. So now this class now here become a superclass
Mm-hmm.
for this class. This is the become a subclass, right? So whenever write here keyword extend, extend means this become a superclass, this become a subclass, right?
Right.
Means
Right.
this is the superclass and this is the subclass. Inheritance happen here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly here you writing the upper class and extend that this is become a subclass, this is become a superclass. And notice the same thing I written here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now
Right.
this subclass become a superclass for this. Right? This is that means this is the subclass now become a super if there is another child, right? If this child means this becomes super, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the here. This is lower class this is the become a super class. So sometime this class play as a role of child class. Sometime this role as a play as a super class, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Similarly, now at this time, this is a child class, right? But at this line, this become a super class, right? This become a
Mhm.
parent, right? This
Mhm.
become parent, and now this is a new child.
Right.
Right.
So here is the child, here is the parent. A parent have also another parent, right? This
Right.
parent have also parent.
Right.
It's clear?
Yeah.
Right.
So this is the inheritance rule. So whenever we have a multiple layer of inheritance, then sometime I have a restriction. I only allow all the subclass only. Then you
Mhm.
can use the extend class name. So by default, in this process method, you can only pass this class object or all is child class. So this is the class pass or is child class, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Notice this is the child class of this same, right?
Mhm.
This is the parent, this is the child. But
If you allow if you allow lower subclass, that means you can use
you
the bottom
extend,
one, like the one below that.
right? And sometime I want to not. So here, this is the one card, is the upper card, upper wild card. Upper wild card say here you change the word the super. Super means you are trying to say कि this is a class allow, but all is super class also allow. So let's call this method, right? Call this method, okay?
Mhm.
And here say list of, okay? And here what say कि this I support this class means कि this class object allow, right? Here
Mhm.
it's work. There is no news, right? But here say कि I am support super means कि all the parent class also accessible here. Means you can here you can also pass the parent class. What is the parent of what is the parent of this? This class
Upper
also,
subclass.
yeah, upper. So this is also you can pass here. But what happened? This is the class, but you're trying to pass the child class. Let's try to pass this child class. They are saying कि, oh, I am upper class. So
Mhm.
this allow, why this allow? Okay. This should be not allowed. This is the I am passing. Okay.
Mhm.
So this is the restrictions. This class allow, its super class allow, and its more super class also allow. So let's
Mhm.
just write 1, 2, 3, 4, and just run. So let me I comment out this. Comment out this. I say you only allow super. This class allow I can pass here, and it's super, and it's super.
Mhm.
So hey, I pass 3. I can also pass super. What 2 also pass, and even I can pass the top class this object as well as.
Mhm.
It's work. Okay, 3, 2, 1. It's work. And I'm
Okay.
say so. Okay, now this is the your. Let me pass here again
Mhm.
and run. So they are accepting. Why it should not accept? Because I am saying only I am going to test it. Uh, this is the super class. This is accepted. This is accepted. But why it's lower class going to accept? 1 minute.
Mhm. Sure.
This is the keyword. Use the wildcard and lower bound. You can use the super keyword. Same is right. Here say super integer. The only super allow. It should works. Okay. Okay. So here, this is the lower class. Lower. Okay. I'm problem here. Notice I passed lower class too. This is the very bad. This
Oh,
should
that's a
be like
double.
this,
Okay.
right? This
Mhm.
is the upper class, lower class, lower class. This is lower class two, lower class two. So I have to check here, okay? So
Mhm.
there are some kind of restrictions. Sometimes I want our generic have a some kind of a problem. So we support, maybe I want only all the super class, all the parent class, all the child class. Equal to all, then go with this card. Wildcard, this for just all the classes, right?
That's
And
right.
this for all, extend means all the subclasses. And this say all the super classes. This is just three keywords somewhere you can look the code, right? Or you can write this. Okay. But notice whenever you calling method, you cannot write like this. Here can I write T? Question.
Okay.
Here T is the while using. Here I am using the list. The
Acha.
T is used when you are creating a class, right? When the list class is created, at that time they can specify, right? Here T. But while whenever you are using this list, at that time you have to pass the value, maybe integer, maybe float, maybe double, or
Acha.
wildcard, right? Generic. But here you cannot pass like a T or like a E, generic. Whenever you are going to use generic, at that time you have to specify the generic value. So please note that. Okay. Here why I'm accepting T, because here I am just writing a method. Someone going to the call. Print method is called by in the main method. Right here. Call by here. So this is the here I cannot pass T. Let someone say print like a T. Not make sense, right? Because you are using them, then you have to pass the value, right? Similarly, here I am using the list, right? I am using the list. While using list, you cannot say like a T. So you have to say ki I have an integer, a number, or float, or something, right? So, but sometimes say ki I am using, but still I want to generic, right? So this is the wildcard use. Is it clear ki why this wildcard and T? What are the differences, right?
Right.
While you defining the generic, writing a method, writing a class, writing interface, where that time you can say I'm going to use T. T means any types. But someone going to call this method print at that time they can pass value, string pass, number pass, float, but they cannot pass like here again generic, right? Here again generic like a T. You cannot do, right? Because
Acha.
here you are using, at the using runtime you have to pass the value. Similarly, whenever we are going to use the list interface, I am going to use the list. The list interface, I have to pass the value, not the T. So value can be integer, value can be float, value can be double, right? Here might be I can say list of maybe integer, right? So only integer we can pass here, right?
Acha.
Just say over change the method name, right? Wildcard or int. Okay. So here we can pass integer, but I'm not interested for integer or number or float. I'm generic. Then I can use this wildcard, right?
Acha. Acha. Acha.
Whenever you say wildcard, that means here someone call in the list they can pass maybe integer, float, double, long, everything. Like here is saying, right? Here you can pass anything, maybe my integer, float, double, my class, anything. But here now have a two kind of flavor. Sometime you want to only subclass, sometime you want to only superclass. So this wildcard have a two flavor. One is the lower wildcard, one is a upper wildcard.
Acha.
So here say question mark extend means they are allow this class and this subclass. You say question mark upper class, this allow and all is upper class.
Acha. Acha.
Is it clear about this keyword? Why you are using the wildcard question mark? Because at this time we are not writing generic, we are not writing box, we are not writing any class. Here I am using the generic. While using generic, this wildcard use. Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Here I am giving examples of for my class. You can use the existing integer class, float class, double class, even. Right?
Right.
Is it okay?
Yes, Ajay.
So this is the one. You say list of question mark, list of question mark. That means they are allow even the number, even integer, even the integer also. Even they allow different integer, different number, anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you say specific, only number. So only is number, like a number allows subclasses.
Acha,
In the
acha.
case of superclass, only superclass allow. So this is
Mm-hmm.
the, just one hierarchical, you can say, Java define. So sometime you can say whenever someone going to use generic, at that time they specify the only this object you can process, not process all, right?
Right, right.
So here example like lowercase, uppercase, here you can any classes. Just our intention is that whenever you have a hierarchical of object, right?
Acha.
Hierarchical of object, maybe you have a class A and its subclass B, its subclass C, right? Its subclass D.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever in application multiple classes. So here
Mm-hmm.
sometime you want to allow list of object B. List of my B allow, I allow the list of B to process. But
Mm-hmm.
even you can allow the super class as well. So instead of
Mm-hmm.
writing a B, you can extend super, right?
Acha.
If what happen if I simply write this B, I'm not writing extend. It's also works. But
Mm-hmm.
problem here, what happened the other? So I say no, allow this and all its subclasses. Whenever it
Mm-hmm.
says super, means this and all its super class, right?
Acha.
Just one two flavor. But
Mm-hmm.
generally, whenever we are going to write some complex algorithm, like complex, you can say multiple hierarchical of Java object, at that time we have going to processing collection. While the processing collections, we have to specify this keyword. Somewhere question mark super, sometime
Mm-hmm.
question mark extend.
Acha. Mm.
Is it okay?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
So these are the two terminology study we left, right? So
right.
just some time use as a initial time whenever you are going. Surely you are not going to write some complex hierarchy, but you
Mm-hmm.
should aware this kind of things Java as a language support means ki
Mm-hmm.
while writing generic, we have a restriction in the inheritance order. Sometime
Right.
only lower class, sometime only upper class, or sometime only all the types, right?
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Okay. So this is the thing. Sometime it generic help us to avoid uh, writing the multiple code. Like here, initially whenever we started, I writing the method like test, copy paste multiple time, right? If you write a
Mm-hmm.
generic,
Right.
this help us. So unnecessary generic just help for the develop. You can say just copy paste code multiple time for multiple types of object, right?
Right.
Right.
And note all these generic activities is only at the compilation time, code compilation type, right? Whenever
Mm-hmm.
you code compile, notice here I am written only one print method, but you are passing a different, right? Like a
Mm-hmm.
different. Internally compiler is overloaded for you.
Okay.
Previously,
Right.
you am
Right.
I am writing on I am writing overriding, right? This is I am writing. So this
Mm-hmm.
activity is now taken care by compiler behalf of you.
Acha, acha, acha,
Okay,
acha.
so all this generic is only work at the before compilation time.
Mm-hmm.
After compilation, no generic. All the actual object one run. Whenever
Acha.
you want to, hey system dot out and print a number, so only they print integer, fruit. A is a number, actual or number. While the
Mm-hmm.
runtime application, actual value are going to the display. Actually value are going to the process, right?
Acha, acha.
So
Mm-hmm.
all generic just help your code should be small, not repeatable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but whenever
Mm-hmm.
your code is compiled, okay, at that time compiler is generate all the specific types of your method or classes, right?
Acha.
And then they send to the runtime system, hey, now you go run. So whatever you are writing as generic, you are not getting any kind of additional performance benefit or degradation. While generic, your performance is not going to increase, not going to decrease. Run
Mm-hmm.
times always need the actual types of value to process.
Acha.
But generic help us to reduce the developer time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So due to that, developers many times use generic to avoid to saving our times.
Acha.
If you're using generic, you can write a generic code. It's what for integer.
Acha, 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 acha.
Right.
While running code, let's user want to I process a string. Compiler
Mm-hmm.
generate my code for a string, right? I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
user want to let's do processing for long number. Compiler
Mm-hmm.
generate my code for the long number because I am
Mm-hmm.
written the generic. Compiler responsibility to convert specific types of my method, specific types of my class.
Mm-hmm.
So generic is just for developer,
Acha.
so that developer can reduce his development time, right?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
But if someone thinking about generic help us to improve the application performance something somewhere, no.
So that's for what actually? Because of it
Uh,
is
that's for less code,
saving
right?
the time. Sorry, go
Yes,
ahead. It's
yes.
for what
Go ahead.
actually? It is the performance thing, right? Definitely, or saving the time.
It is the not a generic is not designed for improving your application performance. Generic is designed to improving the developer efficiency.
Mm-hmm. Acha, acha.
If
Generic.
let's developer have a right to one method for the 8 data types: integer, float, double, long, query, right? So you have
Mm-hmm.
to take lots of time to write the code, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying just write one generic code. The developer can quickly write this code, and now this times is saved of developer, right?
All right.
But while running application, they need 8 times. 8 times they are running at required 8 times. So this is the
Mm-hmm.
compiler do for all of you, right?
Acha.
So while running application, they require all 8 types. But while writing, why you need to again write the same code in eight time or
Eight
for all data
times.
type, right?
Yeah, because of the same code, if you're writing the 8 times, then it is like lagging issue. I mean, performance issue.
No, not a performance issue.
Loading.
Just
No.
developer time going to consume more.
Okay. Okay.
Application is while running application, there is no any performance gain from the generic.
Acha, acha, acha. Mm-hmm.
Just I'm trying to say, just generic is only work before your compilation.
Mm-hmm.
After compiling, whenever code going to the run, at that
Mm-hmm.
time there is no role of generic,
Acha.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Generic is designed for reduce the time of developer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
All right.
Not the increase the performance of application.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, you notice if we can reduce the developer time, then that means we can reduce our project cost, right?
Acha, acha.
Project cost, the major you can see whenever we are building any software for the cost optimization, right?
Mm-hmm. Cost optimization. Yeah.
Indirectly, they are a benefit as a financial number, code quality.
Mm-hmm.
If you write 10 code, might be copy paste at 10 time, you can do some wrong thing, right? Might be some bug, might be some defect, right?
Mm-hmm. I do
But
agree.
if you're writing a less code, means less bug. You are writing huge number of code, might
Mm-hmm.
be in the defect quality, defect number of count.
Mm-hmm.
So there are multiple parameter, but just you aware generic is good for the developer, for
Acha, acha.
writing code, for a programmer, right?
Acha.
Because they save lots of times. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it is clear about this generic.
Yeah, it is kind of, yeah. Ajay,
Uh,
I do have one question just for that's
yes.
relevant to the coding anyway. So just like when you are going to do the like unit testing, what like is there any specific tools you were using or just
Uh, let's I'll plan for 1 2 classes for unit test. Yes,
oh, okay,
for
sure.
unit test, general whatever. Here you are testing all the here what here we are writing all the code, right? and here I am
Right.
testing from this main method, right? This is the main
Right.
method. This is one
Uh-huh.
way to verify whatever you writing code works or not, right?
Uh-huh.
Another way you write the unit test. For unit test, I will take separate class. Okay, how to write the unit
But
test.
Yeah,
like
that will be helpful in like a practical things.
Ajay, there is like any specific tools for that, or just like in here anyway, just like in this
We are just using the some library.
library. Okay, it's okay. So you
Just
can,
code
yeah.
would be the same Java language code, but
Okay.
the unit testing tool generally you are using. We had the JUnit, the concept Java unit test case
J
or
unit.
mock.
Okay. Okay.
We are using yeah Mockito or REST SEO. Lots of library available in the market, right?
Acha, 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 acha.
That's-
Mhm.
So
Library.
we will take one classes how we
Sure.
are writing the JUnits. Okay,
Sure. Sure.
very simple. We are using the editor. Editor help us to do all of that.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
That should be easy. Yeah.
that's a very easy. The hard part, typical part, you already cover,
Yeah, the difficult part, yes, that's right. This is
right?
the
Now all about the
actual
practice
like
now.
advanced concept of
Yeah.
Java. These are what we're
Okay.
learning.
Yes. Good.
Now all about practice.